Hey guys, it's Melanie. Happy Thursday. So today I have a video that I didn't think I was ever gonna do because I was pretty determined to never purchase these eyeshadows. However, a lot of you guys kept pushing me to give the Natasha Denona eyeshadows a chance, and I remembered back to when I thought Viseart eyeshadows were absolutely outrageous and I would never spend the money on those. And when I finally did spend the money on those, I was like, oh, okay, these are totally worth it. And then some. They're amazing. You guys know I love the Viseart eyeshadows. I have purchased so many of those palettes. They're amazing. They are worth the splurge for me. And during the last Sephora 20% off sale, I did pick up the Natasha Denona Lila eyeshadow palette. Out of all of the eyeshadow palettes that Natasha Denona offers, this one appealed to me the most because it is not full of warm eyeshadows. A lot of the other palettes that she has, the Sunset, the Biba, all of that stuff, just wasn't really in my wheelhouse in terms of color story. I just tend to prefer cooler shades. I really love purples. I love plums. I love mauves. Now this does have a few warm shades in here, but I figured I'm gonna pick it up. I was lucky in that during that particular sale, they actually brought the price of this palette down to $99, and then I got the 20% off, so I got it for like 80 bucks basically. So I kind of got a screaming deal on this one. However, I'm going to approach it from the standpoint of, do I think it's worth splurging on at $129? So not getting it on any kind of sale. So, let's hop into it and let's talk about it. So here's the little box that the palette came in. These are made in Italy, apparently. I don't know much about Natasha Denona herself. I have to admit that I'm a little bit like oblivious about her as a makeup artist, but I'm assuming she's a good makeup artist. I'm sure she is. I'm sure she's great. But so the company appears to be based out of New York City, and the products are made in Italy. They are paraben free. They're not tested on animals, which is a must for me. So there you have it. There are ingredients listed on the back. It looks like there are 5 different, she calls them textures, or formulas that are in here. So within each like texture, it looks like there's at least 3 or 4 options, with the exception of texture 13, which is Viola, which is the second one up here. So, which I actually have not used yet, so I don't know much about this one here, but anyway, most of the rest of these I have used and can give you guys some thoughts on whether I think this is worth splurging on. First off, the packaging is really nice. It does come with a pretty nice mirror. I still have this little plastic piece on here. I don't ever use these mirrors, but I do think it's nice when an eyeshadow palette comes with a good sized mirror. And this is definitely a good sized mirror here for sure. I wish that this was necessarily not a thing, but I mean, I can pop it out. I'm gonna go ahead and keep it though, because I do intend to do a perfect neutral eye tutorial for fall using this palette in the next few weeks. So I want to be able to tell you guys the colors that I'm using, so I will leave this on here. But I am one of those people that doesn't like this kind of stuff. It's magnetized here, so you've got these 2 magnets, so it's not gonna like clip shut or anything. It's a magnet. It's a decent magnet. I guess I would feel fine traveling with this. What I may do is just put like a rubber band around it. I'm thinking about actually taking this with me, to Vegas this weekend. I am going for a bachelorette party, and I think this might be a fun palette to take. So yeah, I'll just probably rubber band it and pop it in my makeup bag. Outside is nice. I mean, it's like heavy duty. I'm assuming this is cardboard, right? No, it's not well, yeah. This part's probably cardboard, but there's also that like squishy material in here. So anyway, packaging's fine. In terms of that, it's nice packaging. Let's talk about the eyeshadows. All right, so here are my thoughts. These are really good eyeshadows. Do I think they're worth splurging on? I do. Here's the thing though. I feel like most of what I see her put out definitely leans towards like the warm end of the eyeshadow spectrum. I don't see a ton of cool eyeshadow collections from her, but I realize also that most people are not necessarily into cool tones or purples per se, so you gotta mass market. But I am glad to have this palette. I am glad that I spent the $80 on this. I would have probably also been glad had I spent $129 on it. I don't think there is a single shade in here that I wouldn't at least try at some point. The one shade, or well, there's two that I'm a little bit like, I don't know, but it's like these two right here. I mean, you can obviously, you know, they're the warmer shades and they're just not shades that I would be crazy about, but the textures are really nice. So what I like about these is much like the Viseart eyeshadows, there is a ton of pigmentation to these. They are very easy to apply to the eyes, either with your fingers here or with a brush. The brush that I've been using to do a lot of my crease work has been the Zoeva Luxe Soft Definer Brush number 227. By the way, Zoeva is showing up on the Ulta website. I didn't know that was coming, but that's pretty amazing. But anyway, this kind of, I guess, natural bristle brush is what I've been using for a lot of my crease work. And then I've been using a Zoeva, I just cleaned this, the Luxe Classic Shader Brush. I've been using this for the lid shades, and they apply beautifully with brushes or with my fingers. The formulas seem very creamy. There's a little bit of fallout, but it's not bad. The colors are very intense. They're very saturated. They don't fade throughout the day, and they're fun to play with. This is a fun palette to play with for sure. I think there's a lot of really nice shades in here, like really pretty jewel tones for the fall. Honestly, I'm really excited about this shade right here, this one, this one, this one. I also tend to like cranberry type shades during the fall, so you know, these two definitely rock my boat. This one right here is kind of a cool like duochrome that looks like it might be brown, but it has a little bit of that like cranberry in it. It's so pretty. Like, it's just a really pretty shade. Like, yeah, I really want to put that on my eyes right now, but I'm not going to. What do I have on my eyes right now? Let me tell you guys. So two of my favorite shades in here are Per Se and Nude Mauve. So those would be this shade right here and this shade right here. I love to put these in my crease. Sometimes I will just do one or the other in my crease. Sometimes I will mix them and do both in my crease. And then I love using this shade right here, which is called Juno, on my lid. I love that on my lid. Also, any of these other shades on the lid, gorgeous. This one I've used quite a bit. It's kind of a nice like taupe, bronzy taupe. What's that one called? Helio. Very pretty. But yeah, you guys, this is a great palette. I am very thankful that a lot of you kept pressuring me and saying, just try it. A lot of you knew that the Lila palette was probably going to be the one that would appeal to me the most. So I am thankful for your recommendations. I always am, and I'm glad that I decided to pick this up because it is a very enjoyable formula to use. It is, like I said, it's blendable, it's creamy, it's pigmented, it's really easy to work with. I have a great range of looks that I can get from this. The one thing I will say this is missing is just a very nice, like, skin toned, like, creamy type shade that I can use to set my eyeshadow my primer after I apply it. What I'm talking about is something similar to like Brulee from Wet n Wild. So if something like this was in here, maybe in place of like the shade right here, I feel like the palette would be absolutely perfect. But I do have to pull this out when I'm working with this one because none of these other shades really work as like a setting shade, if that makes sense. Also, there is no like real brow bone highlight in here. This shade right here is not the best for the brow bone. It just has a little bit too much shimmer in it for my personal liking. Again, Brulee tends to be my go-to for that. So that's really the only fault that I can find with this palette is that there's no like setting shade in here for me personally. Other than that, this whole thing's really nice and it's totally worth splurging on. I would say at this point, you know, if you want to pick this up, not that this is like on anyone's radar anymore because this is such an old release from her, but I would say, you know, if you want to wait until the November sale at Sephora, it's worth putting on the list and kind of thinking about, or if you are just, if you want to blow your money on it, it's $129 right now. It is no longer on sale. But I think it's interesting that Sephora puts some of these on sale sometimes. It still kind of surprises me. Also, the Theory palettes from Viseart were on sale for like, I think like $30 during that sale. So it's good to keep an eye out on the sale page. Normally, I don't even bother looking at that anymore because it's usually discontinued stuff that, you know, most people are like, why are you showing me that? You know, I don't want to see old things, or I don't want to see things I can't get anymore. But yeah, this is great, you guys. I like it. I think it's worth splurging on, so. Hopefully this was helpful. I know this is not a new palette at all, but I am glad that I finally picked this up, and I'm gonna take this sticker off because I don't need it anymore. And I'm gonna keep enjoying the Lila palette probably throughout fall, so you're probably gonna see this in my Shop My Stash for the next couple of months as I continue to get some fun jewel-toned looks out of this for September, October, November, so. All right, do you have the Lila palette? What are your thoughts? Do you think it's worth splurging on? Let me know down below in the comments. I will put a link for this in the description box. Let me know if you have any other questions, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care. Bye.